Hi, today's video is how to make a reusable air layering container using a broth, juice, or milk container. These are 900 to 1 liter size, or about 33 ounces. When the final container is made, it'll be about 227 grams, or about 3 inches tall, or again about 8 ounces. So basically how this works is, just give me a sec, I'll take them apart. Basically how this works, you have two halves of the container. The limb will fit inside here. You put your dirt in there, and then the top goes over the top. And that's about all there is. So I'll show you how to make that. It's pretty simple, the stuff that you'll need. Obviously you'll need a milk container, and I'll show you those in a second. You need a glue gun, a tape measure, some scissors, sharp knife, some tape, some rooting compound, plastic, hard plastic if you want, windows, and a marker, of course. And the containers are, I'll show you the three types of containers that I use. You have a soy milk. This is a container, like I said, about a 1 liter tall. It's about 8 inches, tall, and about 3 inches wide or so. You can use a broth container. This is a vegetable broth. They're all the same size containers. Or you can even use a juice container. So let's get down to it. I'll make you a quick and fast air layering container that you can reuse over and over again. So the advantages of using a nice little container like this over the traditional way, which is a bag and 15 people helping you hold it on the limb while you put some soil in there and tape and string and everything out, is that the branch itself goes through the holes and it'll hold it up, and you can use your other hands to put the soil in and the cover on top. It's an ideal size, of course, for all types of trees, or most trees, fruit trees and other plants, because it's not too heavy. It's only 200 and some odd grams, or 8 ounces, so it won't bend and break your limbs. You can add the windows. They're not too easy, but you can add windows at the bottom. It'll obviously hold moisture. It can be used over and over again, and you can make these holes bigger or smaller on either side for bigger or smaller limbs. So let's get down to making this again. Okay, so what we're going to do, we start with a big container. So here's one of the milk containers, and the first thing I'm going to do is we'll take our tape measure, and we're going to measure 3 inches up from the bottom, 3 inches down from the top, and we'll do that all around, and we're going to end up cutting this off. So basically this is what it's going to look like before you cut it. So this will be the bottom of the air layering container, this will be the top, and this little section right here, which will end up being this, we're just going to toss in the garbage, or if you have or not compost, but a green bag or something that can go in there. So let's get this cut. Sometimes I use my knife. You can just cut along the lines, or you can use your scissors. So let's just pretend that I've done it, and here it is. So they're both 3 inches tall. So our next step is we're going to measure up and mark it at 1.5 inches here, and here, and here, and here. So basically halfway up and in the middle. So I've done that to the first guy already, but so if I was doing this side, I would go 1.5, which is about here. So we know it's about there somewhere. So we make a hole probably about 1/4 inch, give or take, like this. And we're only doing this on the top half. So take your scissors, sort of straight up from the bottom, straight up from the bottom, and you'll see why here in a second. Now take your scissors and just sort of cut out this hole, and this part will be on the outside of the box when we're done. So both sides are done. So now when the limb goes in, it'll fit into this bigger opening here. So because of these milk boxes, I like them because they're white on one side and blue on the other. It doesn't quite go together, as you see, nicely. So what I do is I usually cut down about 1/2 inch, cut in little slots like this, and I'm going to do that for all 4 sides, and that's done. So it'll squeeze together nicely for me. So I'm going to line up white to white again and blue to blue on these ones. And once I get it here, so then we close. See, now it's going to close, and this is sort of your final thing. But now here is where the other one's going to be on the and there. So I'll pull this out. So one hole is going to be here, and one hole will be here. We'll just make it a little bit bigger. So take my scissors, chop it down right to the bottom of this hole. This time we're just doing one slot cut right down the middle, and this, because when we put this on the branch, we don't want the branch to come right off. And we're just going to chop it around here just quickly. And that's one, and we'll quickly do this one. So again, we cut it right down to the bottom, and it's not going to be, we'll just do a right around nice circle here. This will be a nice crooked circle, but it'll work. And something like that. So now again, white on white, blue on blue, so I know it all lines up and it goes together, and there we are. It's where's my, and I'll try to put this through. So that's about what you got to do. And so when it goes on the limb is here, you just squeeze it in this way, it holds it nice and tight, and it sets. So when you put your soil in there, then you can just push the cover right on down on top, and it'll squeeze down nice and tight. So if you want to put a window in, all you have to do is, again, you take a piece of plastic, say 1 inch square or so, take your marker, you would mark it at the bottom where you think it should be. You cut out a little bit less because you want room enough to put your glue. You put your glue around here, put the plastic on, and when it hardens, you now have a window. And you could use the little hole in the top for a window too. And that's all there is. So when I come back to you in a moment, I'll show you how I put this on the tree and so on. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I'm in the backwoods, and there's an old apple tree here, so I like to try air laying on this one if I could. So I'm going to take my old milk container that I've made in. I've added some dirt or some potting soil, and I've done it up to about the top of the bottom of the hole. So I'm going to lay this down here first, and we're going to pick a spot, which I have right here, and we'll mark it all the way around, and then we're going to do that about 1 inch away. So not a big limb, about 1/4 inch limb. And then we take the knife, we run it down a little bit here to here, give or take. It should peel right off nicely for us. If not, take your knife and help it along. And that's what we're looking for, something like this. I'm just gonna try not to cut myself there. Now you have to remember to remove everything under here. If not, it'll just keep on growing. And I'm just going to rub my rough part of my knife over and over this. So that should work for that. So that's done. Now we'll take a little bit of the rooting compound, put a bit at my fingers. This is the spot up here is where the root should start from the top. So that's rooting compound on. Now, the advantage of using my container is I can now push my limb into here and into there. There's where the spot is that I made. If you look inside, you can see it. Okay, so now I can let that sit. I don't have to hold it. I take more dirt, and I can put it in here. It's just barely wet, and I'm trying to do this, and once I get the dirt in like that, I could take my white on white and blue on blue And you fit over there, you fit on that side. And now it pushes right now, it's tight over the top. There we go. So now it's in. We'll take some tape. And I'll put a little tape like that so it won't go down the limb any further. And I'm going to put a little bit on the other side. Now you can obviously, you don't have to use electrical tape, but electrical tape is good for out in the wet, so this will work fine. And there it is, all done. And so now this one should be ready in about a month and a half to 2 months. So I'll have part 2 of this video in 2 months, and I'll be able to show the roots. And at the moment I have one there that has a window in it, and over there is my other style, which I'm going to do another video up, and I'll show you that in a bit. Alright, thank you very much.